Good afternoon, everyone. This is the 2018 Greater East Texas Community Action Program Employee Benefits Open Enrollment Meeting. We're going to review the pre-open enrollment communication piece that you received last week by email. Go over some things in here, their updates, review what's not changing, and just cover some stuff that maybe we should all just remember. I'm Tad Dorr with BKCW Insurance, and someone from BKCW will be here all week. This is Caitlin Smith joining me today.
Hello.
And of course, Hollis is here with us. Hopefully Hollis has some questions and he'll ask us as well today to help us along. Caitlin, if you find any questions, feel free to ask them today. So the first things to start off with, we're going to jump right into this. What's new this year? The dental benefit is being enhanced to $2,000. So instead of the $1,000 annual maximum that you had previously, it will now be a $2,000 annual maximum. So those of you all that have had crowns and root canals and major dental expenses in the past and hit that $1,000 mark, you now have twice as much to use in the future. So make sure you always get your wellness benefit through your dental, and it is also going to be with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So changing from Sun Life, it'll be Blue Cross Blue Shield Dental. The following benefits are moving from Sun Life to Dearborn National. Voluntary vision, which will include the iMed network, group and voluntary life and accidental death and dismemberment insurance, voluntary short and long-term disability insurance. Along with the long-term disability insurance, there will also be 5 free face-to-face visits per concern with a licensed counselor as part of the Employee Assistance Program in the long-term disability program. So that's an added additional benefit this year. We'll also have a new benefit that's available. It's called MASA. It's a medical transportation solution for emergency ground and air transport services. Those of you that have never experienced an ambulance ride or a life flight, I hope that you never do, but you can experience that with insurance now. Many life flights can cost upwards of $45,000. You do have one fellow employee that's experienced that this year, and he shared with us in another meeting that his bill was a little over $45,000, and they're still negotiating that here in about 12 weeks later. So it can be very costly, and we'll go over this benefit in a little bit more detail later. The medical insurance is staying with Blue Cross Blue Shield in the same 2 plans that you had before. Who's eligible? All benefit eligible employees or those working 30 hours or more per week are eligible to enroll in the benefits described in this guide. You may also be eligible to cover your qualified family members. That's a legal spouse and tax-dependent children on some benefits. So the neighbor kids that just won't leave, can't cover them either. When to enroll? Wednesday, February 7th through Monday, February 19th, 2018. Can you make changes later? Only through a qualifying life event. How are we going to enroll this year? We're going to use Employee Navigator just like we have the past couple of years. And if you have questions, please refer to this helpful guide. And then also you can check in with hr@getcap.org. Let me fix this real quick. And if you do not remember your password, you can reset it from the login page by clicking Reset a Forgot Password. Jenny's available to help. Her extension is 137. Of course, you can email her or Tanika at hr@getcap.org. Our staff will be on site at the Nacogdoches administrative offices or Head Start offices this week for help, and we'll also be doing meetings via Google Hangout multiple times throughout the week. GETCAP provides the following benefits to full-time employees when eligible: medical insurance, dental insurance, and $25,000 of employer-paid life insurance with accidental death and dismemberment. Voluntary vision insurance is available on an additional paid basis, as well as voluntary life insurance, short-term disability, long-term disability, and additional worksite policies, including off-the-job accident, critical illness with cancer, and fresh bennies, as well as the medical transportation services. The Employee Navigator system will house all benefit information, including summaries for all of these plans and many side-by-side comparisons when needed. The benefits that will be deducted on a before tax basis are medical, dependent dental, contributions to your HSA, and voluntary vision. Medical insurance, the star of the show. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, $5,000 HSA plan is a high deductible health plan. The company is, or the agency is increasing their contribution to the health savings account from $62.50 per month to $85 per month. That benefit is regardless of whether you have an employee, spouse, child, or family. That's an amazing benefit. That's over $1,000 annually going into your health savings account. When you look at that and you take that off your total deductible and your out-of-pocket cost, that means in a worst-case scenario, the most that you spend is $3,800 or $980 in a year for your out-of-pocket expenses, typically. That's a very generous benefit. The high deductible health plan works just like this. You have your free wellness event, preventive copay services, your office visits, specialist visits, chiropractor, emergency room, urgent care facility, inpatient, outpatient surgery, diagnostic, prescription drug coverages, and specialty medications are all covered at 100% after you've reached that deductible. So you're going to pay what's called the negotiated rate once you meet that deductible. I'm a big fan of high deductible health plans and HSAs. For short, they are a lifesaver in my opinion. You can really save some money for later major medical expenses or as an additional retirement account if you like, or just a little nest egg if you choose. The best way to manage these savings is to use telemedicine. We've talked a little bit about Fresh Bennies. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but Fresh Bennies has a zero copay telemedicine visit. Now, Blue Cross Blue Shield also has telemedicine, but their telemedicine for this costs the same as a regular doctor's visit. So it's not going to be zero cost. You're going to pay a much higher cost for this telemedicine visit. So I urge you to consider that whenever you have questions about this. And again, we'll be here via Google Hangouts all week to answer those questions. Cost per pay period for an employee is zero for this. Spouse, children, and family are additional costs. Plan 2 is a more traditional plan. $5,000 individual deductible, 30% coinsurance. That's 30% which you're going to pay after you've met your deductible, and 70% that the insurance company is going to pay until you reach your total medical out-of-pocket of $5,600. Then you have a prescription out-of-pocket that's separate of $1,000 per individual. Now, you can reach that prescription out-of-pocket before you ever reach your medical out-of-pocket, and you can also meet your medical out-of-pocket before you ever meet your prescription out-of-pocket. Things to keep in mind. Your copays for this are $40 for a physician office visit, $40 for a specialist office visit, chiropractic office visits. You can refer to your plan details. Now, I'll tell you that most often you can get a better deal paying cash with a chiropractor, but check with them individually. That's just my opinion. Emergency room is $100 copay plus 30% after deductible. Urgent care facility, $65, and then 30% after deductible for your inpatient hospital surgeries, diagnostic imaging, such as MRI, CT scans, and things like that are also 30% after deductible. Prescription drug coverage is $10 for your tier 1 drugs, $25 for your tier 2 drugs, and $40 for your tier 3 drugs. Specialty medications are covered at $40, and also you need to refer to your SBC for non-preferred specialty drugs. This plan has a $25 per pay period cost that you do not receive any benefits like an HSA as well. So on this one, your total out-of-pocket cost, you could, in a worst-case scenario, really spend close to $6,600 plus the $600 additionally. So you're looking at almost, $7,300 on this plan in a worst-case scenario. Versus the $3,980 on plan 1. One other thing while we're talking about medical, this year we're going to talk to you a little bit more at your PFIT meeting about this, but Blue Cross Blue Shield has a wellness program called Well on Target. When you log in to your Blue Cross Blue Shield website, you'll see Well on Target on the left-hand side, and click on that. It'll ask you to read some instructions, accept those. It'll ask you to do a health risk assessment. I urge you to do that, or skip that spot for a minute and tour around in there and then take the health risk assessment. You can earn points to earn things like iPads, watches, movies, Xbox games, gift cards, and many other things that we all enjoy. So as you get ready for walk across Texas and you're getting ready to count those steps, you might want to check in there and get that tracker signed up so that you can earn some points and maybe earn something cool for all those points, all those steps you're going to take.
The sooner you log in, the sooner you start collecting points. It will not backtrack to the beginning of the year. So if you wanted to start collecting points today, you would need to start signing in today. If you wait 6 months, it will not start tracking until you first log in.
That's right. The reason that we start talking about wellness is, as we move into more and more expensive health insurance and things like that, we always hear, man, insurance goes up every year, things like that. Well, we can do a lot of things to help save that cost. One of those things that we can do from an insurance consultant standpoint is when we get you engaged in the wellness plan and get you involved in that, we can show participation results and we can show things that you are making strides as a group to make yourselves healthier and work in a healthier atmosphere so that we can negotiate better premiums for you. While we're talking about wellness, how about a dental checkup? You get free dental checkups every year with your dental plan. Again, it's through Blue Cross Blue Shield Dental this year. It's a $2,000 annual maximum benefit, and basic services are covered at 20%, major services covered at 50%. And there's no cost for an employee on this plan. Vision. Vision will also be covered through Dearborn this year, and it's through the iMed network. You can use imed.com to find a local provider. One of the cool things about iMed being your new vision provider is that if you got new frames and lenses last year, you can do it again this year. It starts over. So no penalty for that. You can start right in and get an all new set of frames and lenses. The eye exam is a $10 eye exam, but if you have Blue Cross Blue Shield and you get an eye exam through a Blue Cross Blue Shield exam provider, then you cannot have to pay that $10 if you negotiate with the vision doctor's office about that. So something to always keep in mind, double check that. If you have questions, ask Jenny. She's got a good story about that. Frames 1 year, or frames every 24 months. Contact lenses can be done in lieu of frames once every 12 months, and lenses once every 12 months. Laser eye corrections, there's discounts for that as well.
Once again, it's important you always go in for your routine dental exams as well as vision exams. We can make sure that we're catching things ahead of time. If there is some sort of a health problem, if there's something going on with your gums, that's a great key to the doctor that there might be something else going on with your body, as well as with vision. 15% of brain tumors are actually caught on eye exams every year. So it's a great way for you to go in there and make sure that you're being proactive about not having something bigger happen down the line.
Correct. The next thing, I'm going to skip ahead to Fresh Bennies because we're talking about wellness and doctors and all that. So Fresh Bennies is the telemedicine provider that you can buy into. There's an additional cost for this. I believe it's just about $6 a month or $6 a pay period. And you can get zero medicine or zero copay telemedicine. Sorry about that. Get a little tongue-tied there. The best thing about this is, the average wait time is about 10 to 15 minutes. Now, in the middle of night with a screaming baby, I have waited an hour and a half personally. But I've also used it at Disney for my 2 children and myself for ear infections, and didn't have any problem. So, there's lots of opportunities to use this and use it as that first response. My wife has used it for a rash where she's taken pictures, uploaded it to the app, and had a consultation with the doctor about it and gotten a cream or something for that. So I urge you to use this as your first line of defense for those urgent needs. And whenever you just know that, man, I wish I could just talk to my doctor and tell them I need an antibiotic or a steroid or whatever the case may be for your children for that ear infection, eye infection, etc. We've used it for pink eye too. So they also have products such as your Prescription Saver program, the Doctors Online, which, for me, the testimonial on this one is 2 things. You can use it to save money and have them shop for an MRI or something like that for you in an advocacy situation. Or if you have questions about a diagnosis, like my mother was diagnosed with cancer about 10 years ago, and it was Friday afternoon, and over the weekend she had 1,000 questions. Well, this is a great time when she could have used a service like this to reach out to a doctor, talk to them, get real-time advice, and maybe second opinion options and all kinds of different options available, to where maybe it would have given her that peace of mind over the next 48 hours before she heard back from the surgeon, could talk to a doctor, and that nurse leaving her that message on a Friday afternoon. That was just a bad experience for her. I'm sure that it wasn't meant to be, but we've all been in scenarios where we've gotten a bad notice and just wish we had more information, or we've left the doctor's office. This happens to me all the time when I take my kids. We get home and my wife goes, "Well, what did the doctor say?" I'm like, "Well, it's just this." "Well, did she say this?" "No." "Well, did you ask?" "No." "Why not?" "I don't know. I mean, the doctor said this was it." So this is a great opportunity for you to have that extra comfort service and the ability to talk to a professional as well. Additional benefits available this year. Again, you have your voluntary life insurance with accidental death and dismemberment. If you currently have voluntary life insurance and you've already enrolled, and this is not your first opportunity to enroll, then whatever that life insurance amount is that you have, you can add $10,000 to it, up to the maximum guaranteed issue amount that is listed in Employee Navigator for you, or 5 times your annual salary, whichever is greater, and same for your spouse or children, whatever the maximum is for them. you can match it. Or if you go over that amount, or you choose, and this isn't your first opportunity to do it, it may request a statement of health from you. Just simple opportunity for you to answer some simple health questionnaire and get you underwritten for that life insurance policy. Voluntary short-term disability insurance. This is what's sometimes called income protection or paycheck insurance. This covers you for up to 11 weeks at 60% of your weekly income, 15 days after you've been out for sickness, accident, or illness. So if you're going to be out for a long period of time and you haven't taken this out, don't take it out for that new period of time. If you have this policy, there's no pre-X waiting period, okay? One unique thing about GETCAP is that they do not require you to utilize any paid time off prior to receiving these benefits. That's a great benefit. You can carry up to 480 hours of PTO time. So if you're one of those that carries that PTO time up, this might not be something that you invest in. This might be something that you say, you know what, I don't need to invest in this. I always have 200 or 300 hours of PTO time. I always have 400 hours of PTO time. Now, I highly suggest, and your employer highly suggests, that you take your PTO time, you use your vacation time, you use your sick time. No one wants you coming to work sick. But if you're one of those that just never gets sick, never takes a vacation, and you have that PTO time built up, then you might not want to invest in short-term disability insurance. Long-term disability insurance may be something that you choose to invest in at that choice. This provides you a monthly benefit for 60% of your monthly income. It starts 90 days, so after that 11 weeks of disability, it kicks in. And this way, it'll pay you for a long period of time. Typically up to your normal Social Security retirement age or until Social Security kicks in. Voluntary off-the-job accident insurance. So off-the-job accident insurance is just like it says. When you have an accident off the job, this is going to pay a daily hospital ICU benefit or typical indemnity-based benefit to where it's $100 for this, $20 for that, $500 for that. I've had a guy that fell off a roof and collected $13,000 because he took an ambulance. He spent a couple days in ICU, spent a couple more days in the hospital, had so many follow-up visits, had some rehab, had crutches, had the whole 9 yards. And we've all seen the duck on TV, and this is exactly how that works. Voluntary critical illness with cancer insurance. Critical illness with cancer insurance provides you a lump sum benefit of $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000 based on your choice, whatever you've chosen, for the diagnosis of a critical illness, including heart attack, paralysis, internal cancers, end-stage renal disease, and many other debilitating critical illnesses, as well as cancer. Both of these benefits have a $50 wellness benefit. You want to apply for those each year and get those because your wellness visit to your doctor is free. And all you have to do is then fill out a form for this. And of course, Fresh Beans, we've talked about it. It has a zero copay telemedicine, as well as the other great benefits, but $6 per pay period. The new benefit this year is MASA medical transport benefit. I'm going to try to rotate this for you guys. Let me see if I can rotate it. Probably not.
Go to layout, good landscape.
No, still didn't do it. So I apologize for that. In your packet, you'll be able to read it a little bit better. But basically, this provides you with a medical transportation benefit for air transportation, ground transportation, and repatriation on the base benefit. Repatriation is whenever you've passed away and you need to be brought back to home base where you need to be. So the platinum version covers you on a worldwide basis, and visitor transportation, minor children, grandchildren return, vehicle return, pet return, organ retrieval, and organ recipient transportation. So things to consider here is that an ambulance cost is more than $40,000 up to $70,000, and a ground ambulance is $2,000 up to $5,000. So most of the time, these are not covered by your regular health insurance, and something that you may want to consider covering on an additional basis. Health savings account. We talked a little bit about this with your medical plan, but again, health savings account is the money that the company puts in there, and you can also put your own money in there as well. It's deposited in a federal income tax-free account, savings grow tax-free, and withdrawals made for qualified expenses are also income tax-free. Anyone can contribute to this account. It's not just for your doctor's visits. It can be used for many things such as eyeglasses, hearing aids, and qualified prescriptions, as well as dental expenses and many other things. You can find a list of these on irs.gov/HSA. Once you have a balance that reaches higher than $2,000, you can do some investing in mutual funds and move money right back and forth. If you need tips or tricks on that, see us while we're here, or ask Jenny. She has some ideas on how that works as well. By saving in HSA, you can be ready for expenses due to illness or accident. I always like to say this is used in that special savings account for medical expenses instead of your front pocket money that you've already paid taxes on. So if you have any questions about that, please let us know. I think I've just about covered everything. The last couple pages are important employee disclosures, and these have all of your special rules, regulations, laws, and things in there. I urge everybody to read them because you're supposed to each year, and it's just kind of fun to know what's going on in the world around HIPAA and Medicare and certificates of credible coverage and PPACA and Medicare drug plans. So if you have any questions, we're here all week. We'd love to visit with you, and we look forward to hanging out with you some more. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great day.